Hey everyone. We wanted to come together and talk about a brand new announcement that GitHub just released yesterday that we wanted to talk about because this is something that could really change how organizations are scanning their code and using their DevOps platforms to be able to accomplish a lot of the different security initiatives that we should really be covering when we talk about DevOps in the code that we deploy. So what Microsoft and GitHub just announced yesterday is they introduced this new concept of GitHub Secret Protection and GitHub Code Security. Now, when you see this initially, you're kind of thinking, well, what exactly is this and how does this pair with GitHub Advanced Security, which has been GitHub's tool that they've been using for many years, and then ported over as well into the Azure DevOps side and Gazdo that users can also use. So this is a really cool announcement. This is definitely something in response to the customer base that Microsoft has been hearing, and I think this is a great win for customers. So what we can actually see in this announcement, what Microsoft has done and GitHub has done, is they've now taken advanced security and now turned those into two standalone products. I think this is fabulous. So many times there's advanced security has, as you know, has two core components to it. It has the secret scanning capability, and then it has the code scanning capability, which Microsoft charged $49 per committer per month, and that would be a committer that's someone who has commit code in the past 90 days. Now that's great, and it's a fabulous tool. However, a lot of times there's code repositories that advanced security can't scan. Those are programming languages that CodeQL doesn't support. So when we look at those particular languages, for example, let's say you're doing Groove or you have a code repository that has all PowerShell. Well, you can't do any of the code scanning. CodeQL doesn't support the scanning for vulnerability. But if you still wanted the power of being able to do secret scanning, which absolutely we should be checking for our secrets inside of PowerShell scripts, you had to pay the one committer per month to be able to have that functionality. So now what Microsoft and GitHub have done is they are turning this into two standalone products. So now we're going to have GitHub Secret Protection and GitHub Code Security. So inside of this post, basically now GitHub Secret Protection is now going to be $19 per user per month. And that is fabulous because there's just about no code repo that could take advantage of this functionality. All of our code repos being able to check those for secrets against all the different secret providers that advanced security supported. And then now with all of the latest enhancements of features where it can now, using AI, can be checking for passwords as well leaked into repos. And that's across all of the history of the repo, which is also really nice. And then what it can do is you turn this on and you don't have to have any other scanning that's going on. You can just turn this on in your repo and it's going to look at all of that history across of the entire repository and be able to give you that information. That's awesome. And then it has all the push protection so that it won't let you introduce new secrets. So this is applicable to almost every single repository that you probably have in your environment. This is wonderful. And then now we have GitHub Code Security, which now we've broken those off into two pieces, which is now $30 per user per month. Now, if you have repos that can take advantage of both functionalities, that's great. Go ahead and do it. But now if you have your Java repositories or C# or whatever those are, which you're trying to get dependency scanning and code scanning on, now we can have those as separate offerings. We don't have to turn those on for our PowerShell scripts. We can keep doing that at the $19 per month. And then now the code security, we can add that with the $30 per month, but only for the repositories that it actually makes sense to do. So it looks like GitHub and Microsoft are going to start to light this up on April 1st. And it kind of depends if your organization is still doing, if they're doing pay-as-you-go or the metered billing, you're going to pay exactly what the list price is. But if you are using something like a Microsoft account or you're doing a contract, an enterprise agreement, usually depending on the organization, you can get a discount there. However, a lot of times you then have to commit those seats for the entire year. So depending on how fluctuating your environment is, where you want to spin up, tear down particular licenses. It kind of depends on what is the best model. But overall, I think this is such a win. This is such a response to what the community is looking for, to be able to break these out into separate offerings. I think that's great. And then what they also announced as part of this is a new scanning feature. So as part of this, now they're introducing, again, you can see where a lot of the focus is on the secret process, because we want to, all of those leaked credentials is always such an issue in managing the security of our code repos, whether that's community or whether it's even within your own org. So now what GitHub is doing is they're going to release a utility that you can basically scan your entire repo, and you can scan, your whole org. You can scan the whole org looking for those leaked secrets. And what I love about this is you can say, well, why are they doing this? We already have this capability. We can block secrets on push. We can already get visibility to the owners of the repo. What I love about this is it allows you in your organization who owns the DevOps tooling, who owns the repos, you can also start to bring in your security team, your security operations team, where they then have the ability also to have that process of checking all of the secrets. What is the compliance? What does this look like across the whole organization? And I can run this one-time scan, and I can be able to see exactly what that looks like. I think is a wonderful thing that needs to get done. It just helps everybody to have better security practices. But also what I love about it is it gives an easy way for the security operations teams to also engage in this process. So again, just like how Azure DevOps and GitHub are better together, when we have the owner of the DevOps platform tooling, we have the owner of our code repos, and then our security ops teams working together using the same tools, operating at different views of the information, only is going to make your organization even better and more secure. So I think this is a great win. Really looking forward to this. So this is specifically in GitHub today. This has not been introduced for Gazdo. I would imagine this would come to Gazdo pretty soon. And I know a lot of Azure DevOps customers would love to see this functionality, really hoping this comes their way. So just wanted to put that out there for the group because I think this is a huge win. We love to have you here. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and if there's any other topics that you'd want us to cover around security, advanced security, code scanning, just drop a comment below and we'd love to hear it. So thanks for joining, and we'll see you in the next video.